you're in, but we're here to help people, right? Kathy, you want to help people through utilizing their voice to be able to share, and we're in alignment on that. I've been doing that for many, many years. This particular presentation is not about my company Tag Talks, but you can see my logo there. And Tag Talk stands for transparency, acceptance, and growth. And it's all about sharing personal stories and from stages, in books, and so on and so forth. And just like you said, building the know, like, and trust through who you are. That's how people get to know, like, and trust, is they got to know who you are. And they don't want to just know your accolades. They want to know what the hard times that you've been through, right? And then Carla, sounds like you've been in business for quite a while, and you're helping women grow and get confidence in who they are and what they are. And what I love about that is, even though it seems the industry is business side of things, just like Marilee is business side of things, that confidence and these things that we teach, it helps in all aspects of life, right? Life, business, relationships, and everything that we do. So there's a great core in that. And then Pam, I heard Pam's talk the other day, and it was really great. So I appreciate you guys all. I thought I just saw somebody else jump in. Marilee, were we able to let them in?
I did let the one that popped in. They should be in here.
Oh, well, maybe let me see. He's probably at the bottom here. How do I click on? That's always, once I get the presentation, it's hard to bring them on. If you jumped in there, I cannot see you. What? Introduce yourself. I think he was the only other guy on the call. I was like, yay! Can you? That's okay if not. All right, so I'm gonna get started here. We are live on Zoom, on Facebook. Let's see, in the chat. There we go. So we are live on Facebook. We're on Zoom here. People who are in the Zoom, on Facebook right now, if you want to join us live on the Zoom, the post right below this live Facebook one, the link should be there. I posted it probably 3 or 4 times over the last week or so. So you're welcome to jump in. If not, I will do my best towards the end to answer some questions. If you have questions let me see. Did somebody? If you have questions while we're here and running, I'll try and answer them on Facebook for you. But let me get into what this is about: the vibrational mind. Okay, the vibrational mind, powerful thoughts, energy, and frequencies. What is that, and how deep does that go? I mentioned the other day. I've been talking about it actually for the last year or so. As my own spiritual growth has developed, I've really shifted from, I don't want to say shifted from Tag Talks, because Tag Talks is my core. And as I mentioned, transparency, acceptance, and growth, it is about sharing personal stories. And I got into this industry by accident, just sharing my personal story. And after years of sharing it, and people coming to me and asking me, can you help me share my story? You have such an impactful story. Can you help me share my story? I started coaching people. We're not even using that term, but I started coaching people, helping them get their story together by listening to their story, taking notes, pulling the wisdom out of what they share, what they speak, and then putting it into a talk for them. And then we would take those talks and we'd put them into books and so on and so forth. And we just help people get their message out there globally. Really, really incredible. Something from above, I believe, is that I get people that reach out to me, and I've had some of our past clients tell me the same story. I've had people reach out to me from various different countries that I had no idea, but find me. They find me online, some form, somehow, and they say, I've been looking for you. I have your book. Somebody gave me your book. I found your book, whatever it is. And it's changed my life, and it helped me with my son, and so on and so forth. So getting your story out there, sometimes, even if it seems like people aren't seeing it or hearing it, they are. You are impacting people's lives. Okay. And this is usually what I teach. I'm going to get away from the speaking thing, but I just want you guys to know that that's kind of how I got into this industry. And over again, it's something from God that God gave me to go out there and share this story. And then what happened for me is, and I'll just tell you straight up, I'm being very transparent, right? Transparency, acceptance, and growth. I'm being very transparent in where I'm landing today. Because as I've shared my story, continue to do my own work, right? Praying, meditating, learning about energies and frequencies. And if you really start to do the research, everything is a vibration. Everything literally is a vibration. And how can I say this? I get excited about this, so I don't want to go too fast and too quick. But everything is slowed. This vibration that we're in is slowed down so that we can see, feel, and hear, right? This is just the beginning of what I'm about to talk about. There's a great movie that explains it. When I saw it, I was like, wow, that explains it perfectly. It was called Lucy. Has anybody seen Lucy? Movie called Lucy. Okay. So in short, this girl, she by accidentally takes these pills, and they start to accelerate her life. And
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yes,
you see it,
yes.
yeah, and it increases
Mhm.
her frequency. And as she's just learning rapidly, somebody asked her about vibrations and energy and time. Right, time is, there's no such thing as time, and how is their time? And she says they had to slow down, or not they, but the vibrations had to slow, and the speed of energy and frequency had to slow for us to even appear. And the example she gave, and it was really cool, she showed like a car, right? And the car was going faster and faster and faster, 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 until it just disappeared. It was infinite. It was gone because it was going so fast. So that's why we're here. That's why there's time, right? Because there is no time, right? I mean, if you start to travel and meditate and do some of these things I'm going to talk about, you'll realize there's no up or down and there's no time. We're just part of this universe that God created, right? We're part of so up front, I'll tell you, I believe in God, the creator. I believe in Jesus Christ, that Jesus came here to teach us how to live. Because if you look at some of the things that he said from his mouth, all that he's doing is showing us how to be happy, live in joy and happiness, and get along with other people. that's really the basis of what Jesus taught, right? So those are my core beliefs. But as I've kind of expanded, I've understood something else that Jesus said. He said, "You can do anything I can do as long as you believe." He said, "You can do anything I can do and more as long as you believe." So it's not about religion. I'm just telling you about what I believe right now. I'm not trying to preach to you anything. But if you believe in God, if you believe in the Bible, if you believe in Jesus, think about all the things that he did. And he told you, he told me, he told us, you can do anything I can do and more, as long as you believe. And that gets into, as you believe, as a man thinks in his heart. Okay. So this is where my core stacking has come. And it's really gone outside, in my view, outside of religion. Because some of the things that I've experienced and some of the things that I've talked to, like even pastors about, right? I've had incredible pastors who have helped me change my life. I've had incredible psychologists who have helped me change my life, therapists and everything else. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story. Some of you know it. But I've just combined all of this information with the science of the mind and the body too, psychology. I tell everybody all the time, the first psychology teacher I ever had changed my life completely. I was a lost young man. She's Native American, practicing her Native American spirituality, and combined it with psychology in college. So it literally blew my mind. And, I studied psychology from there, neuroscience, and all of the things about the mind, the body, and the spirit, right? I've heard that my whole life, the mind, the body, and the spirit. And you go, oh, that's a cliche. But no, there's a mind, there's a body, and there's a spirit. And it's all we all are part of that. And when you start to combine those things, it'll really shift you, and you'll realize there's more to you than this body. And that the force of the universe, God, is inside of you. And you can do anything that you want to do as long as you believe. All right. I'm actually getting way ahead of myself. I get excited about this stuff. I get excited about it. So let me tell you a little bit about me. Okay, I'm Raul Lopez Jr. I'm the founder of Tag Talks. I'm author, speaker, coach. I've written 8 books. Let me see how do I get to this next one here. Oh, there we go. So I do events all over the place. In fact, one of those pictures, Marley, I think you're there somewhere. Yeah, I don't know if you're in the picture or not, but you're at one of those
Somewhere.
events. So I put events on. I speak at different events all over the place. In fact, right now I'm in an office where there's an event going on on the other side of this building, and I'm going to go speak at that event right after we're done here. So I'll be speaking live in person. And then I spoke at an event last week, and I've been just kind of speaking my own events, putting together my own events, putting people on stages, and then also speaking at other events, which I think a lot of you here are doing or want to do. So towards the end of this, I'll invite you to join me. And if you guys got the email, I also have an incredible sponsor who gives me free trips to Cancun to give to you. So at the end, you guys will all get a free trip to Cancun for 4 people. All right, here's some more stages. This is some incredible places that I've got to end up, that I've been able to land without really even trying. What it came down to was I got called to share my story, and I started to do it. And then all of a sudden things just start to come, right? When you do what you're called to do, you'll be blessed because you're doing what you're called to do. The picture up here on the I guess that would be the left-hand corner. That's a corporate, right? I had one of my own. Here's the interesting thing. The top picture on the right is obviously one of my events, and I was speaking, and there was a guy in the crowd there who was starting a new company, right? And his company is the picture that's on the left. And he said, hey, I love what you do. It was a network marketing type company. He says, I love what you do. He says, I need a spokesperson. And I got a contract with him for 2 years, a 6-figure contract, right? So speaking and sharing your message and connecting with people, it does bring you, and you're blessed to get, and you can get paid for sharing your personal story, right? I tell people all the time, people will pay you for your past to improve their future. People will pay you for your past to improve your future, their futures. So what happens is, as you share your story, you start to be blessed with gigs and consultations and jobs and all these things because people are attracted to you, right? Who is it? Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn says, don't chase, right? If you want to attract things, you got to become attractive, right? How do you become attractive? Is that you share. And this is what I've learned by accident. You share your personal story, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and it'll attract people because everybody has had a hard time. Is there anybody here that has not had a hard time in their life? Raise your hand if you've had a hard time. Let me see. All right. Raise your hand if you haven't had a hard time. I always tell people, if someone raises their hand, I say, stand up, we're going to beat you up right now. Because if you haven't had a hard time, you're going to have one right now, because we've all had them. Anyhow, so just the blessings come. And that picture on the bottom there is this incredible venue in Las Vegas. Got to visit that place a couple of times. I mean, it's just, you could talk to literally the entire world. As many people as register can be there. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people can be watching right there. I think Tony Robbins did an event right there also. Just more different events that I've done. The one in the center right there is my core. Students, children, right? When I first started sharing my message, it was for juveniles. I went to juvenile hall and started sharing my personal message so that kids wouldn't end up like I did. So that's always been my core and how I started. I started sharing my story in juvenile halls, and then in prisons, and then at churches. And then the next thing you know, what you're seeing here is just developed into sharing and helping other people share their stories. I've written 8 books, as I've mentioned. These are my core 2 books. Heal the Boy and the Man Will Appear. The difference in the 2 is, in the first one, it says, learn the importance of understanding and expressing your emotions. The second one is transforming childhood trauma with God and psychology. I'll tell you why I re-released this book 10 years later. I think it was about 10 years later. The second version is because in the first one, I took some very bad advice, and I don't blame the person. They were trying to help me. It was my editor, so on and so forth. She said, you talk too much about God in this book. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, is this a book for faith-based people? And I said, no, it's for everybody. I mean, I'd love for Christians and faith-based people to read it, but it's for everybody. She said, well, you talk too much about God in it, so I think it's going to turn the secular world off. If you want to attract the secular world, then you should talk less about God. So I took her advice, and I took a lot of my messaging and stories and things about God, and I took it out. But as the years went by, and then I got the same message when I first started speaking too. You talk about God too much. And I got different messaging. God will speak to you through people, right? And I got different messaging around that as I started to do it. And so the second version of this book, it talks all about God and the experiences I've had, the visions I've had, and how God has spoke to me, and so on and so forth. And really, that's the difference in these 2. And then I've learned so much since I wrote that first book in regards to psychologically and neuroscience and all of these things that I've studied and learned. So I just added all the great content in there to help people learn and grow. All right, what else do I got here? All right, this is a book series that I have. I've worked with some really great people. Tony Robbins has helped me grow so much since I think 2012. Huge impact on my life. So I've just kind of went through some of these big mentors that I've had, took their top 10 tips and created a book series. All this stuff that you see is on Amazon. So, Tony Robbins' top 10 techniques, Gary V's. I'm doing one right now on Napoleon Hill. I haven't launched it yet, but that should be coming out in the next 6 to 8 months. I've been wanting to work on that and release that one. And then what I'm going to do with this, because it's really similar. Have you guys seen the book? It's called Something for Dummies, like Real Estate for Dummies or Computers for Dummies. They have that Dummies series. So obviously this is not about dummies, but it's Success Leaves Clues, and clients will be here. They'll be like, if you're an expert speaker, it could be top 10 tips from you as a speaker, or top 10 tips on entrepreneurship from you as a speaker. And then you'll have your own book series, part of being part of the book series. I haven't gotten into that yet, but that's just an idea that I have. This is my book series, another one of my book series with Tag Talks. Mary Lee's husband is right there, James. So what I do with this one is the people who come in as our VIP speakers, they do 20-minute talks. And what we do is we take their talk, we transcribe it, we edit it from a talk into a chapter, and then we publish it. And then when they leave, they're authors, speakers, and they're coaches. So that's another thing that we do for our clients over at Tag Talks. I also have brought on a new speaking coach, and I know she's actually speaking right now. She may jump on. Hopefully she does. I used to do all of the training and the speaking for the company. And I do have a course, I think it's 18 videos or something like that. It's mostly me. But because I'm going into this vibrational mind and more of the realm, the stuff that I'm teaching now, I wanted to bring on a new coach for the speaking side of things. So we're not stopping Tag Talks. I'm just kind of stepping aside to another part of it. This is one of my books, another one of my books, The Speaker's Blueprint, Unlocking Lucrative Speaking Gigs. Again, all of these are on Amazon and so on and so forth. Some of our events that we've done in different places, Texas, Northern California, Southern California. We scheduled some in Tampa. We kind of go all over the place with these events. We bring out our speakers and the ones who we've helped with get their books promoted. Then we put their books out and they do book signings and so on and so forth. Traveling, right? This industry, coaching, author, speaking, you can do it from anywhere. The one right there that has the pictures of my books, I'm sitting on a balcony in Cancun, and we did a 5-day Your Story Sales Challenge. So every day I got on for an hour and I worked, right? And then the rest of the days I was hanging out on the beach and having a good time. The one on the right-hand corner at the bottom, that's in San Diego. We just did an event at that place last weekend, but that's from years ago. I've been doing events with Jim, my buddy Jim Lutz. I've been doing events with him for a really long time. One other one is over here in Cabo, I think, Cancun, and one of them, the one on the yacht there, is in Newport Beach. We do a lot of stuff in Newport Beach. I have a buddy who has 5 or 6 yachts, and we go do get-togethers and yachts and masterminds, things like that. It's really fun. So when you're in what I started with, right, when you all introduced yourself, when you are in the business of helping people, you don't have to be tied down to an office. You can do it from anywhere, right? And as you're helping people and they're signing on with you as if if you're their coach or whatever it is that you're doing with them, this is what I do: is I bring them out to an event. Hey, well, I'm going to do a yacht cruise or a yacht party, and it's going to be for all of our clients. So come on out and join us here, and we just going to do some networking and have fun regardless of where you're at. So as you know, in the people business, if you're helping people learn, grow, you also want to be involved with them, not just on Zooms and not just there. Another thing I've been blessed with is just to meet incredible people. Mary Lee, weren't you at that Tim Story event? I think you were there. That was the one in Beverly Hills, I think.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
great.
cool. I don't know if you got pictures there or not. But yeah, Mary Lee came out and hung out at that one. Was it in Beverly Hills or where was it? It was somewhere in the mountains up there.
Yeah, it was Beverly Hills.
Okay, yeah, beautiful mansion event and the views and just an incredible place. But if you don't know Tim's story, he's an incredible guy. Look him up. Tom Bilyeu, Coach Michael Burt. He's up and coming. He's doing really well, helping people with business too. So I just been blessed to be able to work with all of these people. Mr. David Meltzer, I was on his TV show, Office Hours. I got to be a host and interview some really incredible people. It was great. And then on the other side, we partner on some events that we did at SoFi Stadium, right? So just being in the industry, knowing the right people that I introduce all of my clients to, you get to just travel and meet great people and work with incredible people, and they just keep coming. When I first started in this business, I actually paid a couple of influencers and celebrities to come and speak. And what happens is, as soon as you're in their circle, then they want to come. And from there, they started volunteering to come and inviting me to their stuff and so on and so forth. So it's a very small, no, not small. It's very easy to get into a circle of influence. And when you're in that circle of influence, here's something that you'll learn. Here's something. Okay, this is, I don't want to get into a negative, but I see all these ads and all these things online that they say, the secrets that millionaires don't want to show you, and the secrets that this won't show you, and the secrets they're keeping from you, and all this kind of stuff. That's all baloney. It really is. Nobody's trying to keep anything from you. As years ago, when I got into this circle of incredible people, influencers, all they want to do is help you. That's the truth. They just want to help you. And there might be one or two that are just, not happy in their own heart for whatever reason, or not happy in their own life and in their own business, and they kind of will think there's somebody, right? Oh, I'm too important to talk to, whatever it is. There's some of those, yes. But the majority of the people that I've found, that I've met, that I've worked with, that are very high influential, or just have, literally $1 billion, they just want to help. They want to help and they want to serve. And that's the goal in anything that you're doing, I hope, is understanding the more money you make, the right circle that you're in, the more people you can help. Right? I started out in this business saying the same thing that a lot of my newer clients will say to me. It's not about the money. I just want to help people. I don't care about the money. I just want to help people. Right? There's nothing wrong with that at the core. But the more money you make, the more people that you can help. Because if you can't afford to fly here or fly there or go do this or go do that, where you can go help and meet new people, then understanding that it's okay to make money, to help, to love, and to serve. Right? I said this earlier. People will pay you for your past to improve their future. And what does your past include? Good and bad, right? Some hard times that you've been through, and maybe some really great, whatever industry you're in, business, speaking, entrepreneurship, whatever you're doing, right? There's wisdom there that you can help other people with. But if you're not in a position financially to get out there and help these people, then you're not doing what you're called to do. Because when you actually do what you're called to do and you take the chance and you work with somebody that'll help you get there, then you're taking the next step. I'm talking to a guy right now, and I don't spend too much time. I don't negotiate rates or nothing like that. I'm talking to a guy right now who really wants to join my lower program. And one of the programs I have, I'll show it to you guys later. It's only $5,000, right? And I'm doing it from right now all the way until February, till my next event. And it's like payments of $250 a month or something. It's just an incredible option. Anyhow, he's thinking about it. And I don't negotiate. I don't try and force people. But what I'm telling him is very basic. Listen, you have to trust yourself. $250 is not a whole lot of money. I know it is for some people, but $250 a month is not a whole lot of money. $5,000 is not a whole lot of money when you put it in perspective of it's an energy shift, right? We're talking about energy and vibration. I'm going to get more into it. When you pass something, I don't care if it's like you see somebody thirsty and you hand them a bottle of water, that's an energy. You're helping them, right? And if you see somebody thirsty and they need water, they're dehydrated, and you try to hand a bottle of water and they're too proud and they say, no, no, no. Or they don't think it's going to help them. No, it's not going to help me. And you know it's going to help them. You're going to push them to just drink the water. Here, have the water. Please have the water. Drink the water. Watch what it's going to do for you. And then when they take that water and they drink it, it's going to change. It's going to make them feel better, right? So that's the coaching side of things, and just helping people and knowing it's okay for you to make money and be blessed and end up on all these types of shows and things with people. Now, here's the other thing. I say this all the time. In fact, I did this last weekend when Pam was there. I asked everybody, I said, how many people here know who I am? Surprisingly, I was actually shocked that half the room knew who I was. I was like, oh, geez, usually I ask that question, nobody knows who I am or before that day, right? And what I say with that, the reason I ask that question is I say, because you don't have to be known to change people's lives. You don't have to be known. You don't have to be Tony Robbins, right? You don't got to be Gary Vee to change a bunch of people's lives. You can change thousands of people's lives and nobody has to know who you are. And you can make millions of dollars and nobody has to know who you are. It's all about what is your core? What has God given you to pass on? And are you doing it? And then watch what happens. All right. Just more places I've been and incredible people I've gotten to meet. This guy, you guys know who Dan Fleshman is? He's like one of the youngest entrepreneur. He sold a company for, I don't know, 500 million, some crazy number he exited. And then he continues to help people exit, right? This is a good example of what I was just talking about. This guy has no reason to talk to anybody outside of his circle if he doesn't want to. He's worth a ton of money. He does programs. I mean, he sold his first, I think he exited for like 500 million. I have to double check it. But since then, he's gotten to the B, right? I mean, he's just doing more and more and helping and opening, helping people grow their businesses and sell them and so on and so forth. He's a regular guy who loves to help people, right? Once I met him, I've seen him at a couple of different events. We talk, we chat. He comments on my Facebook and all these types of things. He's a regular guy who's made a lot of money. He doesn't have secrets that he's trying to keep from you. I promise you that. He doesn't have secrets he's trying to keep from you. He's not trying to hold you down. Forget all that stuff that you see on social media. And that's really where I'm going with this talks that I'm doing is it's all BS. It's all BS. It's all about helping people to understand, here's your bottle of water. You're thirsty. You need it. It's going to change your life. That's what it comes down to. Everybody wants to help you. And if you run into that 1 or 2 and 10 that don't, then okay, walk away from them. Because there are people who are hurt. Hurt people hurt people. You've heard that. Hurt people hurt people. So anybody that's rude to you, puts you down, no, stay away from them. There's no reason to be around them, right? In my view, that's God saying, this is not the right guy. This is not the right gal to be in your life. Boom, they're going to be rude to you. Just go, oh, okay, thank you, and walk away. I've learned how to not to be offended. I'm not easily offended at all. I'm not one of the people who get offended. And through like phone and sales and all these different things that I do, people have hung up on me. People have cussed me out. I mean, just all these things. It's not personal. None of it is personal. And if they do happen to know you and they do get personal, whatever they're seeing, this is part of the whole vibration and things on vibration I'm talking about. If somebody looks at you and they say something about you specific that they don't like about you, they're looking in a mirror. There's something about you that they see that they know is in them and they don't like it, but they take it out on you. That's the truth. What you see in others, what we see in others exists in us. What we see in others exists in us 100%. And when you're open to understanding some of these things that I'm talking about, you'll start to realize that. Because when I learned this, people still irritate me. People still get on my nerves. But every single time that happens, I look at them and I go, what about that person is me? That's how it makes it easier to get along with people and to understand what about that person is me? What is he or she saying or doing? And why is it bothering me? And I'll actually focus on it. I'm very self-aware. I practice being self-aware. I practice meditation. I practice soaking in prayer, and it comes, right? I always tell people when you're praying, you're talking to God. When you're meditating, you're listening. If you want to hear from God, quiet your mind. God speaks to us every day, all day, whether it be through a person or radio station or whatever it is. But if you're quiet and you learn to actually quiet your mind, it took me almost 2 years to learn how to quiet my mind. When you actually quiet your mind and you get some oxygen in you, then the next thing you know, you start to hear. And it's coming from here. It's coming from internal. And it's always speaking, but you're just not listening. You got too much going on. All right. I got to go backstage at I've met some just incredible people. I won't keep going through all of this. I've met some incredible people putting together events, sharing my personal core story. But this is where it started. All that cool stuff I just showed you, all the people that I've been around, all the things that I've done. This is where it started. This is where my life changed. All right. That's San Quentin Prison in Northern California. I landed there at the young age, my early 20s. I got out at the age of 24, and I went on a new journey. I went on a new journey to change my life. And I didn't just decide to go on a new journey to change my life. I did make a decision to change, but that decision came from God. That decision came when God showed me visions of my life, where I'd been, what I'd been through, every single time that he'd saved me, and then he showed me where I would be in the future. And one of the things that boggles my mind, almost not every day, but when I think about it, just like I am right now, is why me? There are thousands of people in that prison, thousands of men in that prison, and in every prison all across the United States. Why me? Why was I able to see and understand that there's more? Right. And that gets really deep into the frequencies and the energies and who we are. And that's deeper and later. However, what God showed me while I was in prison, one of many, many things, is he actually showed me a vision of me sitting in a chair, in a lazy boy chair with my grandchildren all around me. At that point, I had no grandchildren, but he showed me that. And he said, this is where you should be. The story is longer, but I'm just making it very short. He showed me sitting in a chair with grandkids all around me. I was 20, maybe 23 at the time. And he said, that's where you're going to be. He said, you shouldn't be here. I was in prison. He said, you should not be here. That's where you're going to be. Today, I have 7 grandchildren. So it's coming to play. It's coming to pass, right? And I still have kids who have not had kids. So I'm sure I'm going to have 10, 12 grandkids at some point. I'm going to be sitting in the chair and I'm going to see and be in that exact same spot that God showed me, because that's something else. Everything is happening. Talking about frequencies and energy and life. It's all happening right now for you, right now. Anything you can imagine is happening for you. You just have to shift into that energy, right? Like changing the channel. I mentioned that in one of my posts, right? There are frequencies all over. Somehow, some way, you're watching me from whatever state you're in, right? I'm on a computer. You're on a phone or a computer, and you're watching me right now. That's a frequency, right? It's traveling through the world. I'm not plugged into anything. I pick up my computer right here. I'm not plugged into anything. I got a computer just sitting here. And somehow you're able to watch me. It's a frequency. It's an energy, right? Everything is frequency and energy. If you are not where you want to be, all you have to do is shift your frequency. That takes work. I say all you have to do. It takes work and it takes understanding. But just like changing the radio station, right? When you're on one radio station, actually, I don't even, do people even listen to the radio anymore? There's so much like Spotify and all of these things. I don't know if people even listen to the radio. But if you're on the radio and you're listening to a song on one station, there's thousands of other songs playing at the same exact moment. And if you want the new song, all you got to do is shift, bing, and the next song comes on. If you don't like it, shift it. The next song comes on. It's the same thing with your life. If you don't like where you're at, if you want something new, shift your frequency, change the channel. You can do it. Excuse me. I went from the picture you've seen right here to what I do today. I travel all over the place. I help people. I love people. I help people grow. I have these programs where people, they spend an entire day with me and we just talk and break them. Because we have all this clutter. We have all of this stuff. And it's so crazy when I meet somebody and we're going to spend the day together and we shake hands and they're, the guys are just like, oh, Mr. Perfect. You know how, like, have you ever gone onto a business dinner? And I say this from like when I was a lot younger. When you go on a business dinner, you're on your best behavior, right? And you're trying to make sure you pick up your fork right and your knife and you're all polite and you're doing all that kind of thing. That's how people are when I first meet them in person and we're going to spend the day together. We shake hands and they're Mr. This and they're Mr. That. And I just go, man, to stop. I could care less. You before that, they've seen and heard my story. You know who I am. You know where I've been. I could care less who you think you are or who you want to act like you are right now. My core to helping you shift your life is I got to know where are you broken? What's happening? What are you crying about? What are you stressed about? That's how we fix it, because that's the frequency that you're in. We have to understand the frequency you're in and then shift your frequency. I don't even know what the next slide is. Let's see. Oh, that's just me. That's the beginning of the presentation. I have an entire presentation. I think there's a video here, though, I want to play, and I hope you can hear it, though. That's the thing, is you guys can't hear it. So let's see if it plays. I hope that, if you guys, when I hit play, if you hear it, just put your thumbs up.
Some people are just born to fight, I think. It's not that they're born brave. It's not that they're born strong. It's just that the universe has decided that this one will have grit, and fire and steel in their blood. And it'll be tested. This cosmic metal of theirs, they'll face trial after trial, be broken and damaged in countless ways. But this one was born to fight. Maybe it's not the life they would have chosen. Maybe they'd love to lay down their arms. They were born to fight. That's what they knew. That's what they did best.
When I watch that video, it gets me every time. And I'll say something that sounds like a cliche, because a lot of people say it, but it's true. That last picture I just showed you, I spent 10 years in some type of facility from the age of 14 all the way until I was 24. I was lost. I was broken. I lived in the streets. I was taken from my mother, put into the system. And when I say lost, I lived in a fog. And I did stupid things. I didn't end up in prison for no reason. I did stupid things. And then I figured it out. And I look at that, and then that video that I just showed you, I found that sound to it somewhere, and I kind of put that together. And I say the biggest cliche that people say, but it's not. If I can do it, so can you. if I can go through the darkness, if I can live in a fog, if I could be on the streets, and then have the ability to pay attention. I think that's the difference earlier when I said, why don't these thousands of guys behind those bars right there, why don't they get it? Because they didn't listen, or they're not listening. And I pray and I hope someday that they will. And that's why I started going back into juvenile halls and prisons and helping them. You got to pay attention. Has anybody here had visions, like literal visions? Have you had visions? They're real dreams, powerful dreams. You wake up and like you're emotionally in charge. They're real. God showed me when I started to pray, when I learned to soak in prayer, like a movie script, just one clip after another, almost like that clip I just showed you. God showed me all the times in my life, whether it be a gang fight, a car accident, whatever I was doing, where his hand just would come in and grab me and pull me out, where his hand would grab me and pull me out. Physically, he showed me, visually, he showed me, boom, I got you, I got you, I got you. There's a reason for that. And he doesn't just do that for me. He's done it for you all. But you don't see it, or you don't think, you just think, ooh, that was weird. Pay attention, self-awareness. Quiet your mind. Learn to pray, soak. Because you have a calling, right? You have a calling. And all I want to do, I don't even know what's next on here, honestly. After that.
Some people.
Oh, this was a presentation that I did. And I say this because I'm not here to entertain people. I don't coach people, entertain them and make them happy. I want to push you and challenge you to grow. I'm going to take that off because it'll be distractive. I'll put these real quick. Stay in your frequency because it satisfies your insecurities. How about that? You stay right where you are because you're secure with where you are, even if you're not where you want to be. You stay right where you are because you're worried that you cannot be successful. You're worried what somebody might say. Comfort can become a cage. What is that term? There's another one that everybody says it's true. As I grow and I see these things and I go, there's so much meaning to a lot of this stuff that we do hear and see. What do they say? You're comfortable being uncomfortable. We become comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the truth, right? I adapted to prison. And while I was there, I made the best of it. And I was like, well, this is my life. Okay. People spend their entire lives in prison, physical or mental. You got to break free, man. You got to break free. The people I'm looking to work with, like Mary Lee and I are working together. The people I'm choosing to work with are people who want to freaking change and want to change people. If you've grown enough in your core where you're like, that was not me. This is me now. From the stuff I've shown you, I think you can see I'm a different person right now than I was in just even a couple of those pictures. So some people who meet me and I talk to them, I don't tell everybody as soon as I mean, hey, I was in prison, but I'll meet people and I know they'll become friends or I'll get to know them or whatever it was. And at some point they'll see my story or they'll see me at an event or something. They'll be like, holy crap, you were in prison? I had no idea. So one lady told me one time, I went to church with her for like 10 years. I've never mentioned my life. And then the pastor one day said, hey, can you share your testimony? And I said, sure, I'll share my testimony. So I got up and I shared my testimony. It was on Easter. It was very impactful. And she came up to me, she goes, I had no idea all these years I've known you that you were in prison. I said, really? And she's like, no. She's like, I thought you were like this preppy rich kid who grew up and went to, because I ended up going studying at Stanford. I thought you were like this preppy rich kid who grew up and went to Stanford. I was like, no, I'm the opposite. So I'm the opposite of that. So whoever you are, it doesn't matter who you are. Don't get stuck in a frequency of this is so hard. I can't do it. It's not working. What do I do next? Figure it out. Join me. Continue to grow. What is next? Frequency is in the air. I actually talked about that earlier. Sometimes I get ahead of myself because I get excited. I used the radio example, but the phone is the same thing. I talked about the phone the other day. What do you do when you're on your phone and you can't hear somebody? You move around. Till you can hear them. You find the right frequency, right? So that you can hear and talk very clearly, so that everything's clear and understood. It's the same thing with your life. If where you're at right now is not where you want to be, Go walk around somewhere. Go get into a new circle. Find a new coach. Find somebody to work with. How many people here have a coach or have had one in their life? I hope you have. I've had many. And I don't know. This is actually my opinion. So you guys can tell me if you agree or not. But the term coach is also just because everything and everybody is a coach. There's no more teaching or training or consulting. Everything is, it doesn't matter what you're going to do. I'm going to coach you on how to drink this cup of coffee. You know, I mean, it's like everything is a coach nowadays. And so the term coaching, whatever. However, you need somebody in your life that is where you want to be. How about that? We all need somebody in our life as to who's where we want to be. Right? You want to speak at SoFi Stadium. You want to be around certain celebrities. You want to, take pictures and build with these guys and have them introduce you to people. Then go find somebody. I can help you do that. Right? You want to understand your frequency better. You want to understand your vibration better. You want to understand more what God's speaking to you about. I can help you with that. Mary Lee can help you with that. There's lots of things that we don't know that we don't know. You've heard that one. There are things we know that we know. There are things we know that we don't know. I don't know how to fly an airplane, right? There are things we know that we don't know. And then there are things we don't know that we don't know. I remember the first time I heard that, it confused me. I was like, things that I don't know that I don't know. There are things you have no idea even exist, thoughts, things, spiritually, mentally, physically, whatever it is, that you have no idea even exist. And when you grasp those things, you go, what? I had no idea. That's what it was like for me with that psychology teacher I told you about, teaching Native America. She taught her Native American spirituality combined with psychology. At the time, I was just out of prison. I got forced to go to college, whole nother story. And I'm sitting in this class and she starts talking about traveling in dreams. Blew my mind. Like, Glad you can't do that. And then she showed us how to do it and I practiced and it scared the heck out of me when it happened. There's so much more to what God has created in this entire universe. Then we're on a little speck in the universe. You know that, right? We're on a little speck of sand within the universe. And we think everything is so horrible. Oh my God, I got a flat tire, or my girlfriend broke up with me, or whatever it is. We think it's the end of the world. We're a speck of sand in the universe. But we have an incredible, loving God who created us and came here as Jesus Christ to tell us how to live in happiness and joy. But we don't listen. Unfortunately, and I wish I could say something different than this, we need to have hard times to figure it out. Have you learned from hard times? Right? Steve Jobs says we can't figure things out, connect the dots looking forward. Like we can't go, oh, I know what's going to happen next. If I got a flat tire and I drive, whatever it is, I know what's going to happen next. We don't know. I don't know what's going to happen when I walk out of this office. But I can look back at all the experiences that I had and all the things that I've experienced, good, bad, and ugly, and go, oh, I get it. I learned. Oh, there was wisdom there. Steve Jobs says we connect the dots looking back. We can't connect them looking forward. That's how it comes. I pray and I ask all the time, can I get some wisdom without a hard time, please? Can I please get some wisdom without a hard time? And I know it comes, right? It does. But here's the thing. Pay attention to this, okay? If you haven't thought about this, pay attention. When things come to us easy, we don't pay attention to them. Oh, that was cool. That was great. Yay, I had a good time. Well, yeah, good. But for whatever reason, we don't respect it. We don't honor it. We don't like, oh my God, that was so awesome. But guess what? When something happens, it just smashes you. And then you learn from it and you go, hey, I'm never going to do that again. And I appreciate this based on what happened. And I almost lost all of this. I appreciate it now. Instead of when it just comes to you and it's handed to you. Here, free, love, here, thank you. Put it aside, keep going on with their life. I want to be able to receive without hard times. And I do. We all do. But be aware, self-aware, understand. All right, what's next here? Emotions are energy. Ooh, this is a good one. The title of my first book was The Importance of Understanding and Expressing Your Emotions. Emotions, energy in motion. Okay, we talked a little bit about frequency. Now we're talking about emotions. Okay, what time is it? Oh shoot, we've almost been on an hour. I'm gonna go for about 8 more minutes here. And then I want to have a talk with Mary Lee here. Mary Lee has some really stuff. Mary Lee and I have had some incredible talks, just conversations, and they've been really good. So I want to, you can chime in on all these things that I'm talking about, Mary Lee, and give your opinions on them too. But energy and motion. One of the things, and you guys haven't seen my my whole story, the 14-minute talk that I have. Excuse me. And I encourage you to reach out to me. Hopefully, I don't know if we're all connected on Facebook or not. You can find any of my social media at Raul Lopez Jr. That's my personal brand. I have Tag Talks as my company. My personal brand is Raul Lopez Jr. So if we're not already connected in some form, some way, find me. And I'd love to share that 14-minute video with you. It's on YouTube. It's called Heal the Boy and the Man Will Appear. You could probably find it there too. But anyhow, that's something that is in my book, and it's important, understanding and expressing your emotions, because emotions are energy in motion. Okay. So the explanation I give here that I love to share is when I was very young, and that's why I was talking about my story. When I was very young, I had a childhood trauma. Basically, I was taken from my father, and I was broken, right? Sadness, confusion, anger, just every negative emotion that we can list was going through a little 7-year-old body who had no idea, who had never been taught what emotions are. When I talk about this, I have to say, if you have kids or grandkids and you haven't literally talked to them about their emotions, talk to them about their emotions and explain to them how to express it. Because I had no idea what emotions were. I had no idea what was going through my body. It shut me down. It put me into depression. It gave me anxiety, all of these things that I didn't know I had or was experiencing. And it was because all of this negative emotion, energy, built up inside me. I didn't know how to express it, release it. It's an energy. And what happens when you compress any type of energy for too long? Boom. At some point, it's going to explode. There's no energy that's just going to sit there. And talking about energy on the happy side, right? I always tell people, if you're at a baseball game, or whatever it is, you have grandkids, kids, whatever it is, and they're playing a sport and they score, whoo, you celebrate really quickly. You celebrate. It's an energy. If your child scores a touchdown, a basket, whatever sport they're in, you're not going to sit here like this. It's going to be impossible. You're going to cheer because it's an energy and you're releasing it, right? Unfortunately, when we're in darkness, negative, frustrated, people make us mad, we hold it in. We hold it in. We hold it in. And that's what I did as a young man. And I didn't realize I was holding it in because I didn't know what any of it was, but it's just, oh, I felt horrible. And that's how I ended up on the path that I ended up on. Fighting in the streets, doing stupid things, getting drunk, and just releasing all of this energy that I had cooped up inside of me, but I released it in a negative way. Emotions. Understand the importance of expressing your emotions. I don't have time to tell the story here, but I learned this actually from my daughter when she was like 3 years old. She's 32, 33 now. I learned it from my daughter as a child, how to express emotions. Talking about things I didn't know that I didn't know. I learned from a kid. All right, what else do I have here? Energy is real. Okay. Do this. Put your hands together and go like this. Come on, everybody participate. Come on. Come on. You're going to start to feel it to get warm, right? You're getting warm? Why? There's energy there. There's friction there, right? Now do this, okay? Now open your hands like this. Kind of close, like as if you're holding a baby from their waist or something. And then kind of do this real slow. You feel that? You start to do this, you feel it. There's an energy. There's an energy between their hands. Everything is energy. You're protruding energy right now, right? How many of you have been in the snow or super cold, and when you breathe, you can see the air coming out, right? That same thing's happening right now. It doesn't just happen because it's cold. It's happening right now. It's just you're cold and the temperature changes so you can see your breath all of a sudden. Everything I'm doing with my hands, I get very emotional and I move around when I'm talking. There's so much energy and emotion going on around me right now because how much I'm moving. If you made it really freezing in here, you'd see it all. Energy, frequency, vibration. It's who we are. It's an understanding. If you're in a dark energy, if you're in a dark frequency, if you're in a dark vibration, you can change the channel. It takes practice. You need somebody to show you and share it with you. It's real. Okay, I'm gonna finish with this. I got 2 minutes. This presentation I have here, it's a whole training that I do. It's like 40 pages. So there's no way I could do it in an hour. Mowing the weeds. What happens when you mow the weeds? They grow back, right? So when we're doing some work and we watch a video, we're not really investing in ourselves, and we're not getting and working with somebody who can pull the weeds, right? I used to have years ago up in Northern California, I bought a new house, but I didn't get the backyard landscaped, and the weeds grew automatically. Weeds grow automatically. Negative happens automatically. The weeds grew, and I literally, they got like this tall. I'd look in the backyard and I'd be like, oh my God, I got to get rid of these weeds somehow. So I got this giant mower thing, and I mowed them all down to about that big. They came back within 2 weeks. They grew. I did it again. They grew. The weeds will continue to come if all you do is mow them. You got to go deep in there, pull the root out, dig it up, pull the root out, and then guess what? They don't come back. You know what most people do after they have dirt like what I had, and then pull all the weeds out and make sure they're not going to come back? Then you plant nice grass. You replant something new. You have a darkness. You have weeds. You have subconscious things you've been conditioned to believe about yourself. Some things that are conditioned you don't even realize that are holding you back. You got to pull those weeds out. You got to pull those weeds, and you got to plant something new. That's where I come in. That's what I do now. Okay. That's why I don't want to teach speaking anymore. I love to hear people share their story. I love to people hear their story. And I don't mind helping people. A lot of times it's part of what I'm doing anyways. It's part of what I'm doing. But it's not what God called me to do. It's what I ended up doing by sharing my own personal story. And I love that I've done it. And I've helped millions of people. I shouldn't say millions, thousands of people. I did bring on a speaking coach because it's still part of it. When we work together, when I work with people and we get through this core and we pull the weeds and we understand the frequencies and all these things, you know what happens? They go, I want to share with people. I want to teach people. And that's my goal. I help you, you help them, and they help, and so on and so forth. So that's where the speaking comes in. We get you on a stage and all that, if that's what you want. Right? But that's not my core anymore. My time better spent pulling your weeds, helping you to understand these things that I'm talking about. And that's why Mary Lee and I are in so much in alignment, right? Okay, I could go for hours, guys. I could go and go and go, and that's why I end up having coaching programs and everything else that I do, because I can't just do it in an hour call. I can't do it on a stage in an hour. I want people to come and work with me. Okay. I'm going to talk with Mary Lee a little bit. I want Mary Lee to come on and share her messaging and just kind of the stuff that her and I have been talking about. And then I'm gonna make you guys an offer. All right, I'm gonna make you guys an offer to work with me between now and February. I usually do a 6-month program, but we're gonna go through February because my next event is in February, and I'd love for you guys to join me in the February event. You can join me and Marley, whether you be on the stage. I only have room for 2 people on the stage. You can come with us on the stage, or you can be in the audience and be part of this collective growth that we're all doing together. But Mary Lee, jump on. How are you doing today? I'm excited. Let's get deep. I know I've been going for a long time. What have you got for us?
You know, I have to tell you, Raul, just listening to you today, you are bringing the fire, and you remind me how fun it is to work with you. Your heart has so much passion, and you know, you spoke. I have to laugh because you spoke about comparing yourself. Really, when you use that simple, is that me? I don't know. I'm going to use that from now on. That's a good one. And you know, for me, it's about bringing. You know, like I think sometimes when you get stuck, because I have been through this too, you you're kind of stuck because you've gone through something and you've hit a roadblock with, you know, maybe it's an event that took place in your life or you lost somebody or whatever, and we get stuck trying to change the past. And I believe that creativity is really kind of a catalyst. So I try to think of those things that you know, really help move me and keep me in motion, because you know, like you, if you're going to talk about scripture, it talks about being a, you know, peace is like a river, right? If you want to be in the river and not current and not motion, you've got to be moving. So really, when you think of being, you know, stuck in a situation, if you just take some time and evaluate, you know, what it is that really are those roadblocks, and then realize that it's maybe not the roadblocks that need to change, but it's yourself that needs to change. What is it that it's doing for you? What have you learned from the situation? And then implement those things and then move on and use those gifts to help others, like Raul's been saying. Raul, I know that you have a past, and it's emotional to go through and to go back and look at those things that you've been in, but look at him as an example. What a story he has to share with other people that are broken and hurting. And so, Raul, I just commend you, and just I'm so on board with our messaging, and it's just so fun to connect with you always. So.
Well, thank you, Mary Lee. I want to hear some of your core. Give us one solid tip. I know enough about you, and what I'm really looking for is you told me a story about starting businesses and then it falling apart and then coming back, and there's so much more in your personal life besides that, but combining, right, and for people to understand, because we have business people here, we have people starting coaching programs, we have people starting speaking, combining the entrepreneurship and then understanding the failures that happen there, right? And failures is not an insult. We all fail. I was in prison, so anything I say, you can't be like, Raul, you're judging. Man, I was in prison, right? So I'm not judging anybody ever, but we all have failures. And what I'd like to understand, Marilee, is like with your new website and some of the things that you're doing, where's your core from that? Like, tell us why. Why do you want to do that? And what is it that you want people to change in them?
You got it. So if I speak of my past, I had a father and a brother who were one entrepreneurial minded. My brother was a lawyer, so they were kind of my business mentors. Well, I lost them to cancer several years ago. And when you are a young person and you're in business and all of a sudden you lose your core, people that you get all your answers from, you can get into a stuck place with where do I, how do I solve these? And my husband and I moved around the country a little bit, so I've had like three different businesses in a sense, based off location and kind of the demographic of who I could serve, all fashion related, really. But in each one of those, I started looking at, okay, this is the core theme of them. But I also realized I had such a passion to help other people. That's where I was saying, when you're kind of stuck and you're kind of looking at your situation and how can I move and actually do something else, look at your gifts and look at what you've learned through all those hard times. And for me, that has been, I absolutely love startups and I love helping women. And so if I can take you and help you get unstuck and find your mission and your passion and then be a light to the world. And if I give you a few tips, one, I would say you really have to put your personality into it. To bring your vision to life, you have to be yourself. For me, I love to make people smile, and I love to see you believe in yourself, and I love to inspire hope in you and what you're wanting to accomplish in your goals. So one little example, I had a store in Monterey, and I would bring in graphics that make people laugh. And it was so fun to watch them go around and kind of, come in a little bit ho-hum, but then they'd end up just being really genuine in themselves, and you could start a conversation with them. So, for me, that was just a simple making people laugh in the store. For you, it might be, something more related to and aligned with what you are wanting to pursue and the gifts that you have. But that's one. And then I would say creativity, change. I look at creativity as a catalyst for change, and change is something where you're always going to have a new perspective based on your location or where you're at or what you're going through. Use that as a catalyst to learn and to teach. And then I would definitely say collaborate and network. For me, in those stuck situations when I was lost without a mentor, I stepped out and asked. And like Raul talks about, you get into a circle of good people around you. And he's really good at saying this too. You're always like, you're going to be like that. Okay, Raul, I'm not going to say it perfect. The five people around you, I don't remember exactly how you quote it, but but anyway, it is very important to put yourself in a room with people who are going to feed into you. And so more than one mentor, or, the people that are around you that you really look up to that can feed into you and say, hey, that's a great idea for you. Hey, that's not. Maybe they're your person or maybe they're not. But the more you put your personality into it and the more you start honing in on who you are and how you can serve, the more you're going to start aligning yourself with people who have the same vision as you. And the more you're going to see people gravitate to you because you align with their thoughts and their goals. So,
Amen. Can you see why Marilee and I collaborate? Like we work together. I mean, we have very similar understanding of what it takes. And the way I say it is, you are the 5 people you hang around.
yeah. I was like,
You are
wait a
the
minute, I
5
don't know if
people
I'm
that we
getting
hang
right.
around the most, right? Financially, mentally, physically, everything. We are the 5 people we hang around the most. And I learned that when I got out of prison. I had to move from the city that I lived in and meet a whole new crowd. I ended up going to college, like I said, and it changed everything for me. So one of the things too about my events, and I have one coming in February, like I said, is I actually decided not to do big. I was trying to do big events, beautiful stages, and all this fancy, beautiful stuff. I try to get hundreds of people there and the whole thing, and it's great. There's nothing wrong with it. But what I've focused on, where I'm going now, mentally, physically, spiritually, is the right people in the room. Right. It's not about having a big fancy stage for me anymore. It's more having the right people in the room that can sit and talk and grow. Right. And for the most part, I give, everybody a chance to speak and share their message and so on and so forth. But only 5 people will get on stage. And right now it's me, Marilee, and I have a Roxana. She wasn't able to make it today. But so like I said, I have 2 more spots. If you're interested in speaking, we could talk more about that. If you just want to be around an incredible group of, 5 to 10 people over the next 6 months through February, I'm going to put this up here. That's the offering that I have right now, my coaching program that I have right now. You can I made it very simple too. And because it's all the way to February, there's extra time in there. You can make payments. The payments are only, I think, $260 a month or something like that, right? So it's a no-brainer, really, if you're looking to grow. I've had people come to me after they come and join me in different programs and be like, Raul, you introduced me to David Meltzer and he changed my entire life. And now I have this and I have that and I'm getting paid for this and paid for that. And you introduced me to Tom Bilyeu. So it's not just about me and what I'm going to take you or where Marilee is going to take you spiritually, because that's the core of it, honestly. But it's the circle you're in, the people you get to meet, and the events that I go to. I invite whatever events I go to that are impact. I invite my people that I'm working with also. So Snake, take a snapshot of that, screenshot it, do whatever you want with it. We can talk some more again. And thank you to actually PayPal. They are the ones who've made it very easy to take payments nowadays, where before people would pay $5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, whatever it was. I've made it very simple here. And there's a payment option for 200 something bucks per month.